I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into a powerful book that is called Testosterone Higher Than IQ: Why Men Are Unnecessarily Aggressive, Destructive, and Die Early. It's written by Bruce Maxwell McManus. It is a thought-provoking work. In it, the author tackles the complexities of maleness, exploring how testosterone influences not only the physical aspects of men, but also their emotions, behaviors, and life choices. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Bruce, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. It's terrific to be here with you and everyone else.
Great to have you on the show. It's such an intriguing topic. Testosterone just goes hand in hand with being a man. So it's kind of hard to get around it, I guess, unless we take measures to suppress our testosterone levels. My IQ is very low, so I'm sure my testosterone level is much higher. So hopefully I don't die early. But it's a great topic. What made you think you'd explore this topic and write about it?
I guess a whole agglomeration of experiences throughout my life, observations around the world, and reflections on how we could make the world a better place and improve our behavior. So, in the collection of uh, near experiences and observations of far occurrences, I sort of um, said to myself, this needs to be discussed in some fashion. So I wrote a little book about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's interesting, when guys are younger, I know I was such a hothead when I was younger. I don't keep track of my testosterone levels, but I got to assume I'm more of a mellow fellow now because it's decreased a little bit. But that must be one of your observations as well, that older men don't have that rage that sometimes younger men have, right?
Well, maybe. I think part of the backbone of this treatise is is really an analogy uh, between, um, like you said, poor behaviors, poor choices, and its relationship to something that makes mainly the male subspecies uh, make bad choices and contribute at a local level, at a global level, in social settings, in business settings, and in political settings, to misbehave to the point of being obnoxious or destructive and perhaps even criminal.
Yeah. What can we do about it? I mean, do we channel our energy perhaps in different ways? I mean, that drive that you talk about, that force that you talk about, that power that you talk about can be extremely destructive. It also can be extremely constructive, right? If it's channeled in the right area.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to come back to that in the short treatise, uh, because the world would not have advanced. We would not have challenged all sorts of frontiers over time, made many discoveries, made many improvements, taken chances that were on for the betterment of society, if we didn't have that kind of symbolic quote testosterone unquote. And so, if it is channeled properly, it is part of the backbone of what's good about society. And so it's a double-edged sword, and I think if we could somehow start earlier with bringing people into tough situations. Sports, I think, is perhaps one of the most uh, productive opportunities for kids that then, as they grow into adults, they can channel their aggression into positivity if they're coached right and they're mentored right. And so there is a bit. It's sort of a village of effort that's necessary to have more people do better things with their aggressive nature than worse things.
Exactly. You know, we hear the term toxic masculinity
Yeah.
nowadays. Is that what you're getting at a little bit, that men can be toxic because of their hormone levels?
I think that's a great comment. In fact, it is toxic masculinity that is. I haven't used that term in my book, but uh, indeed, that is what happens when it's mischanneled. This drive, this need to achieve, this need to do something new uh, when it's not channeled properly, it can be very destructive.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
look at criminals, unfortunately, as a member of the male species, I have to admit, I believe most studies indicate that criminals do have higher testosterone levels, right?
Well, I think, uh, I mean, I think there again, that may be true, but I think there again, their opportunities early in life and along the journey of life may have led them into situations that have created a pattern that is self-destructive and generally destructive.
Exactly, exactly. They
Yeah,
had high
yeah,
hormone levels to begin with, and they
yeah,
weren't guided on the right path, and it
yeah.
became the perfect storm for destruction. What do you hope readers, both men and women, take away from your book?
Uh, I hope people will think of it as uh, important because it describes, I would say, an epidemic of misbehaviors that are very, in many cases, indeed tragic, um, and to rechannel them into better societal patterns. And I think it's not a solution in and of itself, but it's a way of thinking that would be positive. And I think it also, in regards to your earlier comment about toxic masculinity, I think it would help us as males and females to think of ways to break the cycles, to change the way we harness our energies and our natural being, to do good with it, and to do less harm.
Absolutely. Everything today gets divided left and right.
Yeah.
You know, the left might be saying, "Attaboy, Bruce." The right might be saying, "Come on, Bruce, don't try to make me less of a man."
Yeah.
How do you address the two sides of this bipolar society that we live in when it comes to talking about your book and your theories espoused within?
Well, my thoughts are only one person's thoughts, so take it from that standpoint first of all. But we just have to think about being decent human beings. And it sounds trivializing to say it, but what we're missing out on is civility. Um, you know, civility is the backbone of a truly civilized society and a cultural milieu where people are behaving in a way towards one another that enhances everyone from east to west to top to bottom in all regards. And so we have to put away our petty belief systems that relate to politics, business, and gender, and think about how we can make our society better for children, because they're the ones that are reaping this kind of environment, and it's not good for them. It shows them a lot of things that we could do less with.
Absolutely. You talked about civilization. I think that's important when you're talking about, the rage and aggression that we see in our society. 50 years ago or more, 75 years ago, men had high testosterone levels too, maybe even higher, according to
Yeah,
some reports, but there was less violent crime.
yeah,
Today, 75 to 50 years later, we've got unprecedented, unthinkable, unspeakable crime being perpetrated,
yeah.
primarily by men. Um, and I think it's a breakdown in society that has changed the individuals. Don't you? I mean, because whoever thought of going into a movie theater or a shopping mall or a school and killing or maiming dozens of people, you
Yeah.
know? Is
Well,
it? Go ahead.
I agree, and I mean, we're going on a crazy path. It's really crazy stuff that we've gotten to the point where day-to-day life is disrupted in so many people's towns, villages, cities, and it's all nonsense. And so if we don't start back at the level of parenthood and early schooling, mentoring, and societal, um, like you said earlier, put away your beliefs that pull you away from people,
Mm,
and come together around just being human
yeah.
and just being civil and just being decent. And then I know that sounds very fuzzy, but I believe that a lot of what our generation, or my generation at least, uh, really fostered was the goodness of everyone,
Yeah.
and to make a home in that society for everyone and bring them all along at their own pace and their own way and their own direction. And there won't be so much latent anger that then comes out and explodes into our face.
Amen. Wise words. We will leave it there. The name of the book is Testosterone Higher Than IQ: Why Men Are Unnecessarily Aggressive, Destructive, and Die Early. It's a provocative title. It's meant to be provocative. It's meant to elicit conversation. It's meant to elicit debate. It's meant to make you think a little bit before you act. And it's a wonderful book written by Bruce Maxwell McManus, and I think you'll truly enjoy it. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure's all mine. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.